This conference will now be recorded. This
Sorry, yeah.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, before we directly move into this particular EWM module, actually, we will try to understand what are the different landscapes that we are trying to have in this particular extended warehouse management. As being, we are trying to have it in two different landscapes, guys. One is about the decentralized systems, and the other one is about the embedded systems. What is the difference between both the things here? So ideally, the functionality wise, it remains the same. I mean, like, there were a few changes in the embedded versions and as well as in the decentralized versions as well, but based upon our business and the volume and the size of the business, SAP is recommending that, okay, you can go for the embedded one or you can go for the decentralized one. So coming to this particular extended warehouse management, the latest versions, what we have in the current market is the EWM is the 9.6, which is yet to come, and 9.5 is the latest one what we have in the decentralized versions, and 1809 is the latest release what we have. And after that, we do have the cloud versions like 1902 and 1911 as well, but which are about to release in the next coming years. But however, what are the differences before we directly jump into this 1809 and the differences between the decentralized ones, which I'll try to cover in the coming sessions. But however, when we compare these embedded systems, basically, which are the S4 ones, so this was started from 1511, guys. I mean, like 1511, but we don't have the I'm sorry, EWM in that. From 1610, this EWM was introduced in the S4 systems, and after that we have 1709 where TM also has came into the picture, and after that we were having 1809. So each and every release, there were few features which are being added to the systems, like few Fiori screens and few of the functionalities like the reverse functionalities in I mean like packaging functionalities and all. So each and every release they were trying to give the most advanced features what we have, and they're trying to make it more easier. Okay, because from 1709 the beauty of this particular EWM has come into the picture, like changing of the inbound deliveries and all has came into the picture, which was not even there since from 7.0 versions. So those are the changes which we have, guys. But before I move into that 1809 and what are the changes and all, I would like to give you an overview, like what is an EWM and what kind of a features we have in EWM and what features, I mean, like what functionalities we are going to use in this. Then I'll come back to this particular features of what we have in the 1809, guys. Okay, so before we move into this, in the embedded systems, actually these are the ones which we will be discussing basically, which is nothing but your systems integration. The other one is about your master data, delivery documents, warehouse integration, and the process integration. So when we are talking about this particular systems integration, ideally, as I said, that the landscape will come into the picture here. As being, we are having two different landscapes, one as an embedded one, the other one as a decentralized one. So embedded one is always an S4 system where we'll be having both your ERP and as well as your EWM in one instance. But when it comes to a decentralized one, your ERP will be placed in a different instance and EWM will be in a different instance. So this is the systems integration one. But when it comes to, sorry, any questions to me here before I move into the master data integration, guys? Anyone? I hope it's okay to everyone, guys. So I'm just moving ahead. Hello?
Yeah, just go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, okay. So when it comes to the master data integration, yes, in decentralized versions, what we had is we have a different challenges like integrating the master data. Like we used to have, normally the EWM system needs to have the sync between the ERP and the EWM. Like we used to have the same material master needs to be transferred to the EWM system, and as well as your I mean, like, sorry, your product master in the EWM system, and your customer and your vendor and your shipping point. So all these things, whatever we have the master data in the ERP, that needs to be replicated again to the EWM system, as being we need to have the same set of master data in the EWM. So the replication of the master data was a huge challenge in the decentralized systems. Like we need to schedule I mean, like as of now we have the change pointers and all, but earlier we used to schedule a background jobs for the integration model, and then we used to run it on a daily basis and all. But because of this embedded systems, the replication of the master data has been reduced. It's not even required now because it's in the same instance, and we will be making use of the same tables and all. So that's the reason the replication of the product master has been completely reduced in this particular S4 system. That's the reason we are calling it as a simplified systems now. I'm
No, no, go, go,
sorry.
go. This will take more.
Okay. So, and at the same time, when we are talking about in the S4 systems, now we have a concept called as a business partners. So this concept initially was been in the EWM systems, and now it has been brought back to S4 systems also, guys, because the customers and the vendors, whatever we create in the ERP systems, we used to transfer that to the EWM, and we used to call them as a business partners in the decentralized versions. But when it comes to an S4 one, we do not have this XK01 or XD01 or whatever it is. It's only one version, sorry, only one terminology which we'll call it as a business partners. So this particular business partners and as well as your material masters, it's not even required to shift it to the EWM system now. They will be just making use of the same master data what we have in the embedded systems. That's one thing actually. So am I clear on this particular master data changes what we have here?
One question, Sriram.
Yes,
Uh,
Naga,
yeah.
yeah.
So basically, as I understand that there is
Mm,
no master data duplications happened, but
mm,
when I mean I already worked in EWM. I
mm,
mean not from EWM front, as an integration from SD and EWM. I know
mm,
basic. So we used
mm.
to, do the delivery as a duplication, right? We will distribute the delivery again. We will create a delivery.
I haven't come to delivery part yet. I was only talking to the master data, but delivery part I'll be coming now. Please, but anyhow, please go ahead with your question. Yeah.
So we will be having a delivery number which will be, generated even in the
Mm.
distributed level as well, right? In the
Distribution level.
EWM level as well. When we do a
Yeah, we will
distribution
be
of,
having that. Yes, yes, yes.
so there is no, even though we have embedded the EWM, we will have two
Uh,
documents generated, isn't it?
hmm.
So,
Hmm.
why it is required? If we have
Hmm.
an embedded one, why we
Hmm.
require to?
Hmm. Okay, let me answer that question just hold on for the 5 minutes. Okay, I'll come back to your question. Okay. So as
Sure.
of now, okay, let me cover this master data, then I'll come back to your question. Okay. So this is what I was trying to give you the master data overview, guys, because as being we are having the decentralized versions earlier, so we used to transfer each and every master data, like as I said, like your plant or your shipping points, your customers and your vendors or your distribution centers or whatever it is, we will be transferring this to the EWM system and we'll be creating it. But now this particular data, whatever we have in the embedded systems, it's not required now. That's the reason we'll be having this no core interface as being for transferring this data. Like we will be having two set of data. One is about your transactional data. The other one is about your master data. So transactional data will come as your deliveries, like what you said, Naga, and the other one is about your master data. Okay, so we will be using two different models. One is about your integration model, the other one is about your distribution model, which we will be seeing much more in detail when we go into the sessions. Okay, so but as I said that the customer and the vendor earlier when we transfer it to the business partner, but however it's only now in business partner. There is no more XK01 or XD01 or MK01 or whatever it is. Okay. Now coming to the delivery changes, the standard flow. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
could you go back to the previous slide?
Yeah. Yes, please.
So what you're saying is that in ERP we
Hmm.
have currently customer master and vendor master. So you're
Hmm.
saying that we don't need that anymore in the EWM, and this will be
No,
called
no,
as
no, 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 no. I'm not saying that it is not required in EWM. It's completely changed now in EWM. I mean, S4 systems also. So the same BP transaction we will be using even for your customer and the vendor, and as well as even in the EWM. Now it's not separated now. It's already in the same system. So we will be making use of that transaction. I mean, okay.
okay. So
Hmm.
so what's the between the two boxes that you have on the left side and the one box that you have on the right side?
Okay, that's the landscape, what I said earlier, right? So we will be having two different landscapes. If you
Mm-hmm.
can, okay, 1 second, let me go back again. So if you see this, this is how this EWM has started basically from 5.0 version, I can say that. So earlier you can see we'll be having ERP as a 6.0 or 7.0, whatever it is. And we used to integrate this with the SEM box initially. SEM
Okay, it
box
was
in the
kept outside
sense,
the ECC. Mm-hmm.
yes, it was outside. That's that version we'll call it as a decentralized version,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Correct.
Okay. So if you see this, initially we used to integrate this with an SEM box, means we used to have your APO and your transportation management, event management, and your event management, and as well as your extended management. I mean, like extended warehouse management. Everything comes under the SEM box.
Oh,
You're
which
getting
means
me?
that all of these currently
Hmm.
APU is outside the ECC, right? So
Yes. So
so in the
this is
same
the
server.
version. which
the
I'm
same
talking
server,
in.
EWM will also be
Uh,
placed.
1 second, please.
Uh-huh.
So this is a decentralized version, which I'm talking at the 5.0 time, okay, which was initially like, okay. After that, since from 9.0 version has come, this is only the decentralized one because decentralized is, I mean, like this embedded has come into the picture from 1511, means 2015 on November 11. So 1511, that the date itself it tells us. Okay, the same way, if you see it after from 9.0 version, EWM has become as a standalone. So you no need to have your whole SCM servers. I mean, like all the whole APOs and TMs and all. It can be integrated as a standalone to your ERP or to your legacy systems. It's not only to an SAP. You can even integrate it to your third-party systems also. Okay.
Oh, something like let's say I'm using Manhattan. So
Hmm.
just for
Yes.
the warehouse management operations alone,
Yes.
what you're saying is you can use EWM with Manhattan.
Hmm. You
So
can do that.
inbound receipt and outbound
Yeah.
can be happening in Manhattan, whereas the internal warehouse management operations can be happening in EWM. Is
Can
that
do
right?
that. Yes, because that was a
Okay.
standalone option what was given at the time of 9.0 version, basically. Okay.
Okay.
So then we do, after that, we do have this EWM as an ERP, as an add-on, but this was not been used extensively. So this was stopped. After that, the release of this 1511 initially, we were having this SCM and EWM as an S4HANA, but that was also a decentralized one. But from 1610, if you come back here, 1 second, what happened? This is not 1 second, guys, my laptop got stuck. Shit. It was not. Oops. Oops. Okay. Yeah. So from 1610, what I was trying to say that is we have this S4 has come into the picture where we'll be having WM, EWM, and as well as your ERP suite, everything in one instance. That is what the landscape, what I have discussed earlier. Like we will be having two different landscapes, as I said, right? One is a decentralized one, and the other one is about your S4 one. You're getting that?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. Got it.
So that is what the box which I was referring over here. So ERP in a different instance, EWM in a different instance. Okay.
Hmm.
So in ERP, we used to create your master data like your product master or your
Better
your
master.
material master or your vendor master, your customer master, your shipping points or whatever it is. Then we used to distribute this again to the EWM system in order to perform your warehouse operations. Okay,
Hmm.
then that point of time, the customer and the vendor, whatever we create that, we used to call it as a business partners in the EWM system.
So
This
it's the
was a
same name
decent.
for both the customer master and vendor master. Is that right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
the same name, and we would be differentiating that with a different role, basically.
Okay.
Okay, but at the same time, when we are talking about this EWM in the S4 normally, now it's been completely changed to business partner. Okay, so whether it could be your ERP or whether it could be even if you're using an MM or if you're using an SD module or whatever it is, now everyone will be making use of the same particular business partner transaction. However, we will be differentiating this again with the different roles over here. Okay,
So
for
basically, the
customer.
change has happened between ERP and S4HANA, right? The
Yes.
ERP used to have the vendor and customer. Right
Hmm.
now, it is going to be like only business partner in
It's
S4HANA.
completely as a business partners in S4HANA. Now the same terminology has been came back to S4 also. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that clear now?
Yeah, it's clear to me. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So now coming to this particular changes, whatever I said, this changes in the sense that delivery integration, what I was talking about here. Okay. Now earlier, before we used to have this ERP and EWM and EWM. So this is the two different instances. I hope it's clear. Now we used to have the purchase order and we used to have an inbound delivery. So the creation of an inbound delivery can be happened through your purchase order or it can be through your purchase requisition or whatever it is. Okay. But once we create an inbound delivery in the ERP system, okay, it gets transferred to your EWM as a notification followed by an inbound delivery followed by your warehouse activities. So this notification is nothing but it's just the replica of your inbound delivery in the EWM system. Now what happened as soon as this S4 has came into the picture, it started removing the duplication of the deliveries, because the most important thing in the S4 is it's trying to reduce your master data things, and it is trying to reduce your duplication of your deliveries and all these things. So then in that case, this inbound delivery notification, which is nothing but your duplication of that, has been removed here. So now what happening? This particular inbound delivery is being transferred to EWM as directly as an inbound delivery now. So this is the reference document in our particular warehouse where we'll be performing the activities here. So are we clear now, guys? So coming to your question, Naga, what was your question now?
When you are saying that removing of
Mm,
duplication, right?
mm.
We create an SO and create an OBD in a normal S4HANA system.
Mm.
Still, we will distribute the delivery to EWM, and
Yes,
there will be an
still.
other delivery number
Mm.
which will be created in EWM.
Exactly, exactly. So now in 1809, I'm telling you, because from 1709 we don't have this. From 1809, we can make use of the same outbound delivery number even in the EWM system also. We don't have this option available in earlier versions, okay? But still, we will be having a new delivery, because this is the delivery which will be a reference for your warehouse people in order to start their activities, whether it could be your put away or whether it could be your picking activities. You're getting my point? Hello.
Yes, but why can't we
Mm.
use the an OBD which is created from SD level?
You mean to say directly you want to make use of this OBD directly? You mean to say, I mean, the number or the delivery? Which one you're talking?
I mean, see, now basically, as we are talking about S4 HANA only to reduce
Mm.
the redundancies with the
Mm.
data footprints, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
if that was the case, if there is a sales order which is created in, I am working in 1809
Mm.
presently. So,
Mm.
SO is created in our S4.
Yes.
Uh, for the same OBD is been created. Again,
Mm.
OBD will be distributed to EWM. Again,
Yes.
there will be another like
Mm.
X of my SO will be created as Y of our EWM
Exactly.
delivery,
But
right?
one second, hold on, hold on. But if you want, your X of outbound delivery can be used as same of X of your outbound delivery in the EWM also. That is one option you have. And coming to your question here, why we are making use of a new delivery again? Because the still EWM, whatever it is, if you see that, still we will be treating that as your external system only. Though it is embedded in your S4 system, the architecture was been designed still in such a way that it is still will be treating as an external system only. So we are communicating to an external system, though you are in an embedded. You're getting my point? That's the reason we will be making use of this particular again a new delivery in the EWM system. And moreover, as being we cannot treat this, because that architecture was designed in such a way that the system will is expecting some delivery, okay? Now because as we can make use of that same outbound delivery number even in the EWM system, this was the future what we have in 1809. But before 1809, still 1709, whatever we have is, it is only expecting another delivery to start your warehouse activities. You're getting that?
Yes,
Yes.
this is also one of my question. So,
Mm.
if I mean, I know that we don't have SIFs as of now, but
Mm.
still we have RFCs, which are, I mean, RFCs and
That's what
Qs.
I was telling you, right? That was the
Yes,
architecture was designed in such a way that still EWM is being treated as an external system. Though it is an embedded one, we will be still required your RFCs, and still we'll be requiring your business system groups and your logical systems. Everything is in place again. You're getting that?
yeah,
Maybe in
yeah.
the next, yes, maybe in the next coming releases, they might reduce all these things. Okay. But as of now, still we are treating this EWM as an external system only. That's the reason we have to make all these settings again, and the deliveries and all, as you said, it has been treated as such way, because that's how the architecture has been designed there in the S4 systems. Okay.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
my question is one more question. It was the same. Why
Mhm.
it is there like that? So it's
Well,
up to SAP why they designed it.
it's SAP design, and we are making use of that application, right? So probably,
Uh,
yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So coming to the delivery integration, guys, this is how the deliveries will get transferred from ERP to the EWM system. So normally in any of the warehouse operations, we will be having mostly inbound or an outbound or an internal operations, and another things like you'll be having your production integration. So any of these deliveries or whatever we are trying to replicate to your EWM system, earlier we used to have a multiple duplication deliveries, but now that has been removed in the S4 systems. That is what I was trying to explain in the delivery integration, guys. Any questions to me here? To anyone? I'm sorry.
No questions from my side.
Okay, fine then. Now, so this is just an overview what I was trying to give you in here, guys. However, we will be 1 second again. This PPT got stuck. What's happening? Yeah. Now, when we compare the changes from because in every release we'll be having new changes which was been being released in the versions, guys. But the major changes what we can see in the S4 is, guys, in 1709 we have so many changes. Like we'll be having a new enhanced functionalities for your quality integrations, and as well as we have something called as an labor management enhancements has been come into the picture. And the most important thing is what I was trying to say is earlier in any of the versions, if you go back and if you see that whether it could be a decentralized one also, once we create a delivery in your ERP system and it gets distributed to any of your WMS system, we do not have the privilege of changing that particular ERP delivery. Okay, in the I'm sorry, in the ERP system. But from 1709, what was the future was given is though the delivery has been distributed to the EWM system, we can still change your quantities, your batches, your texts, and your any of the things. But the prerequisite here is you should not start your warehouse activities there. Okay, so earlier we used to run this, we used to change this through to the different function modules and all, but now directly there was one setting where you can just flag that, and that will help you out to change your inbound release. Like sometimes if your delivery got distributed to the EWM system and you want to change some batches, or you want to change, or you want to have some kind of changes on your text or your batches or whatever it is. So you can go back to your ERP and you can change that particular quantity or whatever. It will immediately will reflect back to your EWM system base. So this was the major change what I can say in the S4 systems basically. Okay. Any questions here to me?
One question. So, as we are, are these changes any changes in the sense like if there are any product unavailability or something like that, even that will be taken care, or like
Product unavailability in the sense?
when we have APO or something like that integrated, we have now AATP which comes in place, right?
Okay.
So we have, we again can do the AATP at the delivery level uh, with the availability of stock. So I just want to understand. Even it, manually, we doesn't change, but when we run this AATP in the background level, it can do changes for the confirmations, right? So even that can be handled or something like that.
No, that can't be handled, but only it can be handling only a few changes like your quantity, or whether it could be your batch or your text or whatever it is. So only these minimal changes only it can handle. And more or less, the only a prerequisite is you should not start your warehouse activities again. Because if you start your warehouse activities, it is not possible to change the delivery back in your ECC. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So this is one of the change what we have in the this one, guys. Okay. However, now let me come into the processes wise. Now, as I told you this is how the data gets transferred here, guys. Now we have already seen this plan, shipping point, customers, and the vendors or whatever we have, and it gets transferred to your EWM and all. But as being we're not using this, but let me come to the functionality wise, what functionalities we have in the EWM systems, and what are the functionalities that we are going to make use of it basically. Now, as I said, in any of the WMS or the warehouse operations, we'll be having more or less these things like inbound, outbound, internal, and some kind of an yard activities or your production activities. That's it. Now, when it comes to an inbound, what exactly an inbound refers to means we are trying to perform the goods inside, means you're trying to take the goods inside your warehouse and how effectively you're planning the put away here. That's one thing. And at the same time, outbound, how effectively you are shipping out your goods based on your multiple options here. But the one thing, the other concept, what we have in the EWM system, which we'll call it as a process-oriented storage control. This is one of the features what we have in the EWM system, guys. And this is the most important thing in the EWM, as being this is a concept where we will be performing, okay, with a storage control. So I'll come to this now, okay. And now when we come to this particular inbound, as I said that, okay, we'll be having your transportation units. I mean to say that your shipping and receiving activities will be happening and you'll be receiving a truck, okay, and more or less you will be performing your unloading activities, and then we'll start doing your warehouse activities like your picking, sorry, you're doing the putaways and all. Now, as I said that, okay, this is what we have seen the inbound. This is a decentralized one, guys. Purchase order will create, followed by inbound delivery, gets notification, followed by inbound delivery, but this is not required as of now. But okay, before I directly jump into this process oriented one, we knew that, okay, the organizational structure in a warehouse will be in such a way that we'll be having a storage type, followed by a storage section, followed by a storage bins. And more or less in the EWM system, we have a concept called as an activity areas, which we'll see that later. Now, in WM perspective, if you see that, if I remember, okay, the storage sections are mandatory for creating your any of the bins, but in EWM system, it is not mandatory for us. Okay, it's not mandatory that you have to create a sections for your bins. Okay, you can create it or you cannot. That's one option we do have here. Okay, and more or less a warehouse structure is represented with 3 or 4 digit over here, everything. In WM site, we can only see that with the 3-digit numbers and all. Okay, that's again the configuration part, which will come back again. This is all the templates, guys, which I believe we can come back here. I was referring to one process, which I'll want to show you that. Yes. So now, this is how a normal warehouse, let's assume that this is how a normal warehouse where we're trying to have your operations. Like we know that this is a bulk storage type and this is a high rack storage types. And we can see that there's some kind of an work centers and some kind of an activities were being performed. A normal typical warehouse, we can take an example here. Now, in this example, let's take one of this one, which is called as a process oriented storage control. What does this process oriented storage control refers to? So basically what happens is this will come into the picture normally when we are trying to have, when we are receiving some kind of a mixed pallets. Let's assume that your vendor is trying to send some kind of a mixed products to your warehouse. Now, during that time, normally what we do, we will unload that pallet and then we will move it to some kind of a place, which we'll call it as a workstation. And in the workstation, we will try to separate that product. So let's take an example. Like if you're working in the beverage industries, like you have your Coke and Pepsi coming in the same pallet, guys. Let's take that. So when the Coke and Pepsi coming in the same pallet, when you're trying to perform the put away, you do not want the Coke and Pepsi to be stored in the same storage type. Why? Because at the time of picking, you have to segregate it and then you have to remove it and then you have to do it. But however, moreover, here what we are trying to do is before we perform the put away itself, we will try to break that particular pallet and then we will separate it based on your product attributes, whether it could be your Coke or whether it could be a Pepsi. We will be separating these two products and then we'll repack this in a new handling unit and then we will perform the put away. So this kind of operations, what we call it as kind of a complex put away normally. So during this put away, it's one of the process which I was talking about, the deconsolidation. However, we do have something called as a VAS, which is nothing but your value added services. And we do have something called as a quality inspection. And we have something called as a counting. So these are the multiple options that we will be seeing when we perform the putaways. Okay. Now this, so what is this process oriented storage control? Means in the system, we will be telling to the system that, okay, if I am receiving some X products or X and Y products from a particular vendor, okay, I need to perform a quality check. Or if I'm receiving some mixed products from some vendor, I need to perform the deconsolidation. So if I'm receiving some kind of a products from another vendor, okay, I have to perform a value addition. So how does we differentiate that in the systems? So basically, based on your particular products, we do have a certain factors for that to determine, okay, if I'm getting these products from a particular vendor, okay, I have to trigger this process. In order to trigger that process, which I'm talking about the process oriented one, where we will be following a sequential of a steps here. If you see this one where the truck is coming and it is unloading here in the staging area, which is nothing but your interim bins, okay, and then we will be moving it to the work centers, which is step number 3, and the step number 4 will be performing the put away. So we need to make the system to follow these particular steps. This is nothing but the process oriented storage control here. Okay, so as being, we will predefine the steps in the system, telling that, okay, I'll be having an IB01. If you see this, the step of IB01, step of IB02, and the step of IB03, whatever it is, these are all the predefined steps in the system, and I want my products to undergo this process. That's the reason what we call it as a process oriented storage control. Means we will already determine one storage control in the system, telling that I would like to determine a certain process for this products before I perform the put away. So in such a way that the system will go in a sequential way of all this performing the steps, and then we will get that activity will be done. If you see this, we can get the same products also from multiple vendors. So that point of time, it will be directly moving to the storage tab if you see this. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you see the products, whatever we are receiving, it sometimes we can directly skip all the steps and we can perform the put away. Or sometimes you have to undergo all these steps. So this is a simple put away. There's no other actions to be performed. As soon as we unload, we will directly move this to your final put away bins. I mean, like the storage types where you want to store it. But if you want to perform some activities for that, then in that case, okay, we will be unloading it, we will be moving it to a workstation, and we'll be performing the activities, and then we will separate it. So that's the reason we'll call it as a complex put away. Okay, in this particular complex put away, we will be having this particular activities here. Clear, guys, or any questions here? Hello. This is just an overview of trying to give you here, guys, but there are a lot of things again in this to go in detail. This is just an overview of what I'm trying to give you as a process oriented storage control over here. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Question.
So if I compare this with the SAP WM, right? So when we
Yeah.
receive the inventory first by using, Migochier, for example, the inventory will first come into the storage type 902 and with the dynamic
Yes.
bin, right?
901, 902, whatever you say. Yeah, that's the
Yes.
interim bins, right? Yes.
Interim storage types and the whatever the dynamic bins, which could be same as your PO number, right?
Yes.
So so which step is that here?
That
So
step
what is
will
the
call it
corresponding?
as, that step is called as staging area. And the other thing is, like, we do not have the concept of creating the dynamic bins in the EWM system. That's one thing, because in WM we have this creation of a dynamic bins based on your purchase order or whatever it is. It takes that and creates automatically, right? But that particular feature was not available in the EWM system. And more or less, if you even check your storage unit concepts, also was not available in the EWM system. Because if you remember that the storage units, we can do it at a warehouse level or at the storage type level, right? But even
Yeah,
that
you can
also is
activate
not
the
available.
storage unit
You
on.
can activate that storage unit management, but that particular storage unit management is not available even in the EWM because it's completely changed. Okay, only a handling unit, that's it. So if you want to activate a handling unit, just maintain your handling unit requirement at the storage type level, that's it. So there is no other separate activations for that, unlike your dynamic bin creations and all. But coming to your question, the dynamic bin creations are nothing but it's an interim bins, right?
Correct.
That
Correct.
particular interim bins will call it as a staging area, which is the unloading step, the very first step. If you see this here, okay, that is the place where we'll call it as an
And then what is the
unload.
bin door one? What's the difference
Which
between
one?
that one? So you have the number one step, right? It says
The
type
number one is
903.
the truck no, the number one is your yard activities, right? So
Oh,
before you come into your warehouse, the very first thing is what happens, your truck comes in and it tries to check in there, and then it performs its activities, and then it comes to your, it will assign a door, and then it will come to your warehouse, right? So first thing is what, it will come to your door and it will assign. From door, we will move it to your staging area, which is your interim bin. You're getting my
okay.
point. That is
Okay.
the step. So this step is a different thing. That's a yard activities again. We'll anyhow discuss, but that's the first step. So
Okay.
our warehouse activities will start from this, because from the warehouse, where from the staging area, I mean like from the interim bins, we will start your activities, right? To perform the putaways or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
in the EWM system, we'll call it as a staging area. And from the staging area, based on your products, you will decide what kind of an activities that needs to be performed. But anyhow, as soon as you start unloading, the system will automatically will predetermine the steps. Okay, it says that okay, it has to go to a work center, it has to go to so and so place, it will automatically will determine. Okay, you don't need to do a manual things. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And I assume it has the system guided put away process, right?
we do have system guided and we have semi system guided, everything we have. Yes,
Okay.
you can do that.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
No problem. So this is how a complex put away will happen in the system case. This is one of the process of a process oriented storage control. Okay, the
Did we
same.
come across the warehouse
uh,
storage type? Sorry.
mm,
Sorry to stop you. So did we come across the warehouse structure? So in the SAP WM, we have that storage type, storage section, and storage bin, right? Or are we going to see
that's
that?
what that's what I said, right?
Sorry.
This is what the warehouse structure everyone knows, like storage type, storage section, and the storage bins. But
And
in
then
the
you have the
WM,
activity area, picking area,
we
right?
have the activity areas for the picking, for putaways, and all. But the
Mm-hmm.
same way, we do have only the storage sections and all. I said storage sections is not mandatory in the EWM system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, even yeah, it's
that's what I
optional.
said.
Mhm.
Okay, it's an optional. So,
Looks to me
but
like there are no
coming,
changes here.
uh, which one? I'm sorry.
Looks to me like there is no change between SAP WM and EWM in this,
No,
yeah,
warehouse
this aspect.
structure, it remains the same. There's no change in the, but only the thing is we have a difference in your storage types and as well as in the storage bins. Means every storage type will be having some kind of a roles that we'll be seeing in detail in the sessions, because it's
Okay.
just a
Mhm.
demo. I mean, like what I'm trying
Yeah,
to
it's
give you
just
an
a demo. I
overview.
got it.
Yes,
Hmm.
because if I want to get into detail of a storage type, yes, we do have a lot of options in the storage types. What is a bulk strategy and what is a pallet strategies and how your put away has to be determined. So these are all the things which we comes in the storage type when we configure the warehouse. You're
Correct.
getting my point.
Yeah,
And
got it.
when it comes to storage bins in WM, we do have a template for creating the bins with only 10 digits. If you see
Okay.
that for the aisle, stack, and level, we'll be having a template, right, for creating your bins. But in
Mm-hmm.
the EWM, it's 18. So these differences, anyhow, I'll be covering when we're trying to create it. So
Okay.
basically, the way what we do is we will try to create a warehouse from the scratch, and we will try to build all the scenarios in that, and then we will try to compare how the WM works and how do the EWM works and how does the decentralized works. So then that point of time, I'll come over there. Don't worry, because it's just a
Sure.
demo.
Sure.
I'm just trying to give you an overview what how does an EWM is and what processes we have in EWM. That's it. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
No,
Thank you.
okay. No problem. Because in 1 hour and or in 1 hour, I mean, like in 45 minutes, I can't completely give you an,
I
I mean,
understand. Yeah, I
details
understand.
of an EWM, because it's only an overview. I can try to give you what processes we have and how does an EWM works. That's what I can maximum I
Yeah,
can put on here.
exactly. Correct. And even for us, it is very difficult to catch everything on the
That's
day
what
one itself.
on
Yeah.
the day one itself, because people are many from a WM background, it's still an assumption that okay, it is the same like an like EWM, but it's completely no, because the terminologies are completely changed over here. Because in WM we have transfer requirement and transfer order. We do not
Mhm.
have that at all. Here we'll call it as a warehouse request and warehouse orders. And as you said, we have something called as a dynamic bin creations. We do not have that in EWM. It's
Mhm.
again we have to create it manually. But in WM we used all the interim bins will be getting created automatically, right? We have a transaction for that, so all the bins gets generated automatically. And more or less, if you see that, we even have this what do you say that storage unit, as I said, that we even don't have that at all here. So though it's WM and EWM seems to be pretty much similar in case of your operations, but when it comes to the processes wise, both are completely different. Okay, those are
Okay.
completely
Okay.
different. So it's all over again a new module. I can say that. Okay.
Okay. Hmm.
So I was talking about this layout one because Yeah. Oh, I think I missed that slide somewhere. Okay, this is just for your reference, guys. I've just kept it like what all the features what we have in WM and what features we don't have in WM. As I said, that the deconsolidation, one of the future. As of now, we explained like that. Okay, we don't even have that in WM. Slotting and rearrangement. Yes, sometimes you want your warehouse products to be slotted. Okay, then that point of time we will be making use of the slotting and rearrangement again. Dock appointment schedulings where we do not have that in WM, where you how you can give in appointments or how you can plan your trucks before it comes to your warehouse. Okay, and labor management, how effectively you are planning your resources and how effectively your resources are being performed in your warehouse. Okay, within his 8 hours or 10 hours of his shift, how much of the activities is trying to perform. Okay, and returns management and MFS, material flow system. But material flow system we cannot have it in any of the idea systems, guys, because this needs to be integrated with the third party tools again with PLCs and all the stuff. Okay, and EHS integration, configurable RF framework, and so these are all the functionalities what we have in EWM. We do have all this bin management, placement strategies, removal strategies, even in WM, but not that extensively what we have in EWM. So this is just an example. I just try to compare here. Okay. Okay. On this. Okay. I was missing that layout one actually. Thought of explaining that. Okay. So yeah, got it. We have seen this process oriented storage control. We will have this process oriented storage control both in inbound and as well as in outbound. Okay, so the same way in outbound also will perform it. However, but what is this layout oriented? Now this layout oriented will come into the picture. Okay, maybe in case of if you anyone have seen any kind of an automated warehouses, basically where this particular automated warehouses, what happens is where we will try to perform, we can't directly perform the put away to your bills, so you have to place it on a conveyor belts, and from the conveyor belts it will take to your respective destination bins, right? This kind of an activity is whatever we are performing in a warehouse, whether it could be your inbound or whether it could be your outbound. If you see any of your in YouTube, you have so many videos like in Amazon how the warehouse pickings are happening. If you see, the picking will happen somewhere, it will be placed on some conveyor belts, and from conveyor belts it goes to some kind of a packing station, right? So that kind of a process, what we call it as a layout oriented storage control here, means where we can't directly perform the put away, so from the source to the destination and again from the destination to the final put aways. So anyhow, where we will be having the particular activities will be performed on kind of in semi-automated warehouses or fully automated warehouses, then that point of time this concept will come into the picture, guys. Okay, the layout oriented storage control. So in EWM most of the cases we'll be discussing about this layout oriented or the process oriented, because this is most important things in the EWM system. Okay, this is one thing I want to tell you. And top of it, everyone knows how what is a posting changes and what is an replenishment one and what is a physical inventory. So these are all the same concepts what we have, but the process wise it's bit different here. But a replenishment one, we already knew that what is a replenishment one. Whenever a product is going below the threshold limit, so obviously you want to create a replenishment one. So whether what is it? It could be an automatic or an order one or a direct replenishment. We do have a different process, but the concept remains the same. There is no change in that. So physical inventory, what is a physical inventory? Everyone knows that. So we will be counting your inventory on a daily basis or on a monthly basis or whatever it is, or on based on if your cycle counting or based on your ABC indicators. So the conceptual wise, these concepts remains the same. Like if internal operations, like what I can say that is cycle counting or your these things. However, the only most important concepts what we have in the EWM is like your process oriented storage control and layout oriented storage control, and the other thing is like your labor management, where we want to track your uh, activities of your resources, and the RF framework, and the most important thing is the PPF one. So this PPF plays a major role in the EWM, which is nothing but your post processing framework. So this particular post processing framework is nothing but where it's a kind of a NACE. I can say that in ACC, but in EWM we'll call it as a PPF one. This will be used not only for your warehouse activities like you are printing your labels or doing anything. But however, it will even trigger your workflows, it will even trigger your emails and all this stuff. On top of that, it will automate your warehouse activities also. If you want to automate any of your warehouse tasks or your warehouse requests, and all these things will be helpful in this particular PPF one, guys. This is a very big concept again, post processing framework, which we will see that in detail, guys. So normally these are all the functionalities what we have in the EWM system. And again, we have something called as a production integration again. So this production integration is nothing but whenever we create a process order or your manufacturing order, it creates an production material request in the EWM system, and that particular production material request will pick the activity, I mean, like pick the BOM components, whatever we have, and then we will move it to some consumption area, and then we'll consume it, and then we will send it back to ERP. So these are all the different processes what we have. The same way we even have the quality inspection also. So the integration to the EWM will be happening with different models. As we know, it will be happening through MM, through SD, and through PP also. Okay. So these are all the different, and as well as with the TM as well now, because TM is a complete different thing. Fine. But this is how the EWM operations, I can say, completely we'll be looking after in the session, guys. If you can see that, okay. And these are all the strategies, okay. So which we'll be seeing in detail, that's for sure, in when we step into the sessions, guys. Okay. Now that's what I was talking about: inbound, outbound, and the storage operations, and yeah, yard management, resource and the labor management, and the cross docking. Yeah, we do have a multiple cross docking options here: transportation cross docking, opportunistic cross docking, and all these things. And kitting scenarios, we have kit to stock, reverse kitting, and all these things again, and loading. Yeah, and as well as we can even see this particular operations, how does it happens even in the Fury, that I'll show you this in Fury screen also. Okay, and how to configure the Furies and all, the configuration front end, that also I'll be showing you in the sessions. Okay, that is what I can just give you an overview of an EWM, guys, in this time. Okay, but when we step into the sessions, we can have in detail of each and every process, and we will be configuring everything in detail, guys. Okay, no issues in that. Any questions to me, guys?
This is nothing. Yeah. I mean, are there any process changes between, 9.5 EWM decentralized and embedded?
That's what I said. Functionality wise, it remains the same, but configuration aspect, there are changes. Okay.
Okay.
So again, in configuration in S4 is different, and the configuration in decentralized is a bit different. But that's what I said. I'll be covering even that also. When we step into the configuration aspect, I'll be covering how a WM will be working on, and how a decentralized will be working on, and how a EW embedded will be working on. So that is not a concern. You don't worry about that. Okay.
Okay, I'm just concerned about the business process level. If there are any
Process
changes.
level, that's what functionality wise, there is no change in that. But the configuration aspect, it's a bit different over here.
Fine,
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. No worries. Any other questions, guys, to me?
So the PJ is still there, right?
That is still there.
It has to be there. Yeah.
It has to be there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, this is Ganapati. I joined late.
Yeah, no problem, Ganapati. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you covering the MFS and
MFS, that's what I
voice
said.
picking?
Right? What is that? What's the second one?
Voice picking?
That's what, yeah. So these are all the integrations which will be happening with the third-party tools actually. So in normal IDS systems, we do not have that options to, because we have to purchase that tools, and again we have to integrate it with that, the voice picking, or if not the MFS one. So these are all not possible in the IDS systems, because we have so many factors here. We have to integrate your ABAP channels, and we have to integrate your PLCs, and we have to integrate with the third parties one. So in the IDS, we can't do this and all, because this is normally IDS systems, we can't have these options. Okay, we have to purchase that software, and then we have to integrate it. But I can show you the configuration, I can give you the documents of the configuration, how it happens. This concepts, whatever you have said, it is only possible in the real time, as being the business will purchase it. But in the IDS systems, we cannot do that actually, because the software itself, it costs you more. Okay, sorry, you there? I'm sorry. Ganapati, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah. So MFS and this voice picking one would not be possible in the IT systems, but rest of
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
any other
Actually,
yeah.
you can do with the native also. You don't need to buy third party. But
the
yeah, that
integration
is
needs to be
fine.
done.
Yeah, no, but there are basic stuff you can cover. Yeah, but that's okay. Yeah.
But end to end is not possible here. Basic stuff only, that's what I'm telling you, that I can cover. But end to end would not be possible here. Okay. Okay. Any other questions, guys, before I leave for the day? Hello.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good session actually, Sriram. So just I think, could you provide, tell about yourself, your
Okay.
background, and I don't think so. We
So
got it.
coming to my background, currently based out in Germany now. Actually, because of this demo, I have to wake up early in the morning now. So currently working for the client Jaguar over here now. So I started my career in SAP in 2000, somewhere in 2000. I can say that in maybe 8 or 9. But my EWM career has started from 2012 and 13 actually. So I started working as an end user for Apple, and then I started working as an SAP consultant. I started as an MM, and then later on I've moved into this EWM in 2013, and from then on I was working into this EWM in multiple things like implementations, rollouts, and all. So as of now, I'm currently moved out to Germany, and I was been here now. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
Yeah. So that's what my thing. So I currently having almost like only 10 plus only in SAP, and another 4 years in my domain experience of an SAP as an end user. So altogether, it would be somewhere around 12 to 13 years. But coming to extensively to SAP, I'm having only 10 years of experience. I can say that.
Okay.
Yeah. And EWM, extensive EWM, I'm almost having like 6+ years because I started this from 2013, and I'm only working on this EWM only.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right then. So just leave your feedback to Naveen, guys, whatever it is. Okay. So anyone, if you if anything is there, just let me know. Like kind of an admin related activities like your access or your course content and all, Naveen will be helping you out. But any other things like related to the course, that I can help you out to that. Okay. The access and all, or the sessions timings and all, you can talk to Naveen. But the other things, probably I can help you out. Okay.
Okay.
I believe any other things to me before I leave, guys.
No,
Uh,
that's all from my side. I don't
Oh,
have any questions.
no
I
problem
don't
then.
have any questions from my side. It's a nice session, Sridhar.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay
Thank
then,
you.
guys. Thank you, guys. Okay. Just
Thank you.
have
Bye.
have a nice day.
You too. Bye.
This
Hello.
conference will now be recorded.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Hi.
Yes. Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. It's okay. Everyone is able to see my screen. Hello.
Yeah, yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, yes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hi. Thank you.
Sorry, who else joined?
Yes. Is this a Sriram?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Sriram. Okay. We will wait for other people or we can start.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm just want to confirm like who are all there in the call. That's the reason.
Yeah, I'm Nicolas. First.
Okay. Hi, Nicholas. Okay.
Yeah, hi.
So who else joined, guys?
Hi, this is Ganapati. Hey, Sri.
Yeah. Hi, Ganapati.
Hi, Sriram. This is Mohan.
Okay. Hi, Mohan. Okay. Anyone else in the call apart from three? Nicholas, Mohan, and Ganapati. That's it. Okay. Right. So we have already seen the demo, like what is an EWM and how does an EWM behaves and all. But before we directly move into this systems, actually we have to create the basic org structure, like our plant, like our storage locations, and we need to have our purchase organizations and all. So for all our the basic org structure, so such that we will be able to create the rest of the things. Okay. Now, in order to do such things, we'll first have to create this. Okay, so let me create that particular org structure, guys. Probably I believe everyone knew like what is a plant and what is an company code and what is the storage locations and all. So I don't need to give an explanation on that, I guess. Is that okay, Ganapati or Mohan and Nicholas, everyone?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, yes, okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
It's fine, Sriram. Is it the first session?
Yeah, first session. Yeah, tell me.
Okay, fine. I just
Yeah.
want to confirm.
Yeah, because last class, I mean, like, it's not a class as well. It's just a demo. What we have seen, I'm not sure who else are there in the demo session. That's the reason.
I was there in last demo.
So it was just only an overview what I've given that. So now, as being we are dealing with this particular embedded systems, like what we are trying to do is we are trying to have both ERP and as well as EWM in the same instance. So first thing is we need to talk about the integration part. So in order to have this integration part here, this is the place where the basis will come into the picture normally, and they will be integrating your systems. But however, if we will not be doing all this integration things and all, but we should have an idea of what exactly we were doing there, at least. Okay, now Take 46. So we'll make use of this particular WM46 as our particular org structure base, and then we will proceed further as our plant and our warehouse and everything. Okay. All right. However, we still will be creating one ERP warehouse number base. This is still is required actually. Okay, as of now. Sorry. Why do we require this ERP warehouse number? The very first thing. Any idea to anyone? Hello. Mohan or anyone, guys? Ganapati.
Actual operations is happening at the EWM warehouse only, right? So we need to
Yeah,
connect the EWM warehouse to the plant.
I'm talking about the ERP warehouse number. Why do we require an ERP warehouse number? It's not generally required, right? But why? There's one reason. There should be something, right? So we should not be creating all this. What do you say, that ERP warehouse number, because we are not performing our warehouse operations in no more in WM, right? It's only about the EWM, guys, right? Agree? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is a concept for that even actually. So however, as I've copied it from another existing plant and also all the storage locations has come into the picture, fine. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create this SLOCs. Okay. So ideally, for connecting to an EWM system normally, we can make use of two different storage locations. One is about 1030, which is receive on dock. The other one is about available for the sale. Okay. We can also have an one storage location also. That is also possible. That why? Because we will see it in the maybe in the sessions. I'll tell you what is the significance of it. But as of now, as per the SAP standard practice, we will be going ahead with two different storage locations. Okay. I'm just creating the purchasing organizations and all. So we know this will be helpful for our purchasing things and all. That's the reason I'm just creating this. And we need another shipping point also. Fine, I will use that. For WM46, right? Okay. I'm just copying it from the standard ones, guys. That's it, okay? To have our own things. There's nothing I'm trying to do here. So I've just created some of the few org structures and all. So now I'll try to assign this. Okay. So assign plan to the company code. So I'll be taking the standard one basically. Plant is WM46. This is the one we have taken. Okay. Okay, I've copied it. So that's the reason it is taking WM01 and all. Fine. I'll just leave it as it is. So it's okay. Assign purchasing organization. Okay, company code is WM01 I've taken. Okay.
Yeah,
So this is
sorry,
what
can I ask you a question?
yeah,
Please.
tell me. Please go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw you copying the warehouse. No, the plant they copy it from the 45 WM maybe 45, but WM 45 from where you copy it already.
Okay,
For example.
that's a standard one where I've copied it from 1000 or 1010. Okay, you
Okay,
can
no
copy
problem.
it
Okay,
because
thanks.
yeah, fine.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry. Yeah. Because this is an IDA system, right? So I'm not sure whether people have all the settings in that. So that's the reason I've copied to my existing one. If you see this, I was trying to create an plant, storage location, and a warehouse number. But ideally, this warehouse number is not an EWM warehouse number. If you see that, this is just an normal ERP warehouse number. So why am I doing this? Basically, there is a significance for that even. So okay, assign shipping point to the plant. Okay. These menus are there. I think I've copied out. Okay, I'll come back 1 second. Wait, that is not that important to me as of now. So now I've told you that there are two things which we are talking about. One is about the integration part, and the other one is about your master data. Now, when it comes to your integration part, whether it could be a decentralized one or whether it could be an embedded one, the normal thing is we will be having the settings of the basics one. I mean, like the basic settings, as I said, which we'll have to configure now. Now, if you see this, we used to have below the logistics execution in the embedded systems, we never used to have this XM extended warehouse management and all. But in the embedded, we are able to see it now. However, the very first thing is if you see integration with other SAP components here, if you can see this. So this is the place where we'll be coming and we will be assigning or we'll be integrating with a third-party systems actually. Okay. That's how we have our own thing, which is an extended warehouse management. Now, if you can see this, there are three different nodes here. One is about basic settings for your system landscape, basic settings for your data transfer, and basic settings for your EWM linkage. So the first two settings, whatever we are trying to see, these are the ones where only the basics guys will be doing, because the basics guys have to define your logical systems and all. But before I come here, let me first explain you what is a functional thing we have to do. So if you say this, there is something called as a configure SAP EWM specific parameters. Okay, so what does that really helps us? Okay, now other thing I want to show you. Now, if you can say this, any of the org structure in the EWM, what I'm discussing about here, you see that you'll be having a plant at which we have created it as WM46, and we will be requiring two different storage locations. However, two storage locations are not mandatory in the EWM system. We can even make use of one storage location also, which I'll see that later. So receive on dock, and the other one is available for the sale. So that's the reason I've created 1030 and as 1040. Now we have assigned this to an ERP warehouse number, right? This is what we have seen so far, Mohan and Ganapati and Nicholas, right? This is what we have seen. Agree so far. Now, why are we doing this as of now? Because why can't we directly connect the EWM warehouse to the existing storage locations? Why are we using this ERP warehouse number as a barrier? The reason is that the the reason is because we do not have the privilege of assigning the EWM warehouse directly to your plant or to your storage locations in the system. So that's the reason what we do is we will create one ERP warehouse number which acts as a dummy warehouse only. There is no such org structure we'll be creating in that, and will not perform any of such operations as well in that. However, that particular warehouse number, whatever we have created of W46, basically, you can see that we will be telling to the system like what kind of a warehouse is that. Okay, whether it is a local warehouse management, which is your ERP versions one, and the decentralized warehouse management, or an extended warehouse management. So based out of this setting, we will decide to your ERP warehouse that, okay, this warehouse will act as a barrier to the EWM system. Now, there is another option also, which is a decentralized warehouse management. So any idea like what is a decentralized warehouse management? Anyone?
Yeah, lean warehouse or external warehouse. Is that right? That means another system of warehouse management like Manhattan or something similar, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Is that right or not?
Not a Manhattan one, but it's a kind of the same warehouse management which we will be using it in a different instance. But however, it's of the same SAP system only, but where you'll be having your warehouse operations in a different system basically. Okay, that we'll call it as a decentralized systems normally. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in our case, as being we are not using the decentralized system and we are not using the local warehouse management, what are we using here? We are using an option of an extended warehouse management. So what we do here, this particular warehouse, whatever we have, we will be using it as an extended warehouse management, the very first setting. Okay. And after that, we see that distribute immediately at document creation. So what does that mean? Means as soon as any of the deliveries that you create in the ERP system, whether it could be your inbound deliveries or your outbound deliveries or in your production deliveries or whatever, or your posting changes or your S-log to S-log transfers, any of these documents, whatever you create in the ERP system, you would like to have that particular documents to be triggered directly to the EWM system. That is what we have something called as a distribute immediately at the document creation, the first setting. Okay, and if you do not want to have the distribution happen, then we will make it as a stop distributions in some of the upgrade systems. And so when you're trying to upgrade it from 7.0 to some other versions, actually, then that point of time we'll make sure that we'll stop the distribution because we don't want to have the deliveries to be reflected in the EWM system. So we'll stop it and then we'll take it. Okay, that's one thing. So as of now, it's only one thing which we have is distribute immediately. Okay. However, we have another thing which is nothing but communication. What kind of a communication? Earlier, like in the previous versions, we used to have a multiple options like QRFC, TRFCs, and so many things, which is a transactional RFC and this is a queued remote RFCs and all. However, but now we are just making use of only one option, which is nothing but QRFC, because TRFCs and all has been removed in the recent versions. Okay, in the 7.0 versions and in another version in 9.0 as well, I believe, yeah, which is there. We have another thing called as a TRFCs and all, but now it is not required. It's only one method, which is a queued and serialized RFC. That's only the thing. So the very first thing which we need to make sure is, for our particular warehouse, we have to make sure that it is an EWM, and we will be making sure that the distribute immediately at the document creation and the communication method. It's queued and a serialized RFC. Any questions to me? So any to anyone guys here? I'm sorry.
Here in distribution mode, if you
Hmm.
stop it,
Hmm.
after some time, if you enable it, whatever the delta documents only will be transferred to the EWM.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Because the distribution will be happening at three different places. One is about at this particular node, and there is another one which is at the document level, and manually also we can do that. So with that, anyhow, we will come back again. Okay, I'll show you during your
Okay.
transactional sessions and all. Okay, so
Okay.
that's three different things what we have here. Okay, extended warehouse management, distribution mode, and this one. However, this was the future which I was telling you that. Okay, we do have the other options like undetermined checks, a batch determination in the EWM, and GR from EWM. This is for the production integration, and this is for the batches, and we do have for the unchecked. So there are significance for that, but as of now, I'll not be coming back to this, because when we go further, then I'll come back to this, because then that point of time we will understand what is the significance of these three nodes. Now, coming to this particular option, which is the delivery change, where in earlier versions, as I told you, that we do not have this at all, because as soon as a delivery gets transferred from an ERP to the EWM system, we do not have the privilege of changing the quantities, or we do not have the option of changing your batches or your text items, or okay, whatever it is. But once we flag this particular option, we will be able to change the delivery quantities and all the stuff in the ERP system. In EWM, yes, at any point of time you can change it. That's not at all a concern. Using the picking exceptions and all, or whatever exceptions we have, we can do that. But in the ERP one, once it is distributed to the WMS system, we do not have the option to distribute that. You're getting my point?
Yes, yeah. You
Yeah.
are getting.
Yeah, can I ask you a question here? Do you mean an ERP? Does mean the end of the in the end of the day we will work on S4HANA. That's right, S4HANA and EWM. That's right. I mean, my goal today is to have a training in embedded warehouse management. Is
This
that
is
right?
an
At the end
embedded
of the
warehouse management only.
yeah.
We're
Okay.
trying to
Perfect.
see that, because that's the reason I've shown you that. I'm trying to show you this. If you can see this, you're only in the embedded systems. I mean, like in the S4 systems only. Where is that?
Yeah.
We will be
Okay.
having this SCM as an extended warehouse management and the transportation management. If it is not an S4 systems, we will not have these two nodes available there. You can see this, okay? The complete nodes are available here. So this is an S4. If it is a normal ERP system, we will not have this at all, okay?
Okay.
So
Okay.
in my
Got it.
terminology, if it is an ERP in the sense, it's an S4, okay, Milaki? Because I'm trying to compare, though the EWM has been embedded in the S4 system, still we are treating this as an external system only, right? Because if it is a normal warehouse management, if it is a normal WM, we do not do these settings at all, because you're still integrating with other SAP components. So what does that refers to then? We are still treating that EWM as an external system, and still we are moving ahead. You're getting my point?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the reason.
Thanks
Because,
a lot. Thanks
yeah,
a lot
no,
for your
no problem. Yeah. So this is a
Sriram, one thing. If someone
Mhm.
is using, speaker without headphones, I think it is better recommendable to use earphones. Its echo is coming actually. Twice the voice is coming.
Okay,
Maybe some
okay,
attendees might be using the loudspeaker without using earphone.
okay. Maybe because if someone is there, please try to use that, right? Okay.
It's a request,
Yeah.
please.
No problem. Yeah. So this is the first setting which we have done here, guys. Okay, what is that? Basic settings for the system landscape. Sorry, not the system landscape. EWM linkage. Okay. Now, queue transfer. Okay, we do have an queue transfers and all. Like, what is the purpose of this? I'll come back to this. Okay, because before that, I have to tell you what is logical systems and all. So I'll come back to this. Now, there is something called as a distribution model. What is this distribution model? But however, we need to understand two things, that the what kind of a data we will be transferring to the EWM system. Like, what kind of data we would be having it here, guys? One could be your transactional data, the other one could be your master data, right? Apart from this, do you think that we'll have any other data here, guys? No, right? We'll be having only these two data, right? One is about your master data and the other one is about your transactional data. Agree? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I'm talking about the master data, normally we used to have something called as an integration model. That is nothing but your core interface, where we will be using this integration model and we will be transferring it. But in the S4 systems, we will not use the integration model, which is nothing but the core interface. As we have it in the same system, we're not using it. But still, we have the distribution model in place. So what is this distribution model? This distribution model is nothing but this will be helpful for us in order to transfer your transactional data, such as your inbound deliveries, such as your outbound deliveries, or your production deliveries, or whatever the deliveries you are trying to create. It will be having the standard BAPIs in the backend, and that will help us to take our respective data to the EWM system. The very first thing. Okay, so in order to have the distribution model, basically we haven't created this for our warehouse, but let's see for the other warehouses what happens here. You see this, there would be like 6 kind of things, like you see that. I'm just taking for the normal standard one. Okay, for the outbound, we have a delivery change, request change, and a save replica. Delivery change, save replica, and the stage WM parts. So basically, these are the standard BAPIs what we have, and we will be making use of it. So this will help us to transfer the data. I mean, like what data? The transactional data again to our EWM systems. Okay, so this is a mandatory thing which we need to make sure of it. Okay, and again, this would be a client specific. So make sure that, guys. Okay, when you're trying to perform this in your production environment or somewhere, I mean, like sometimes these are all the part of your cutover activities again, so which is a client specific related one. Okay, but before I go that, we have something called as a logical system. Now comes to the basic settings actually. So what is this logical systems basically? Okay, we need to know about that. So I'm coming back to this first note, basic settings of the system landscape. So one is about the logical system. So logical system is nothing but this is the naming convention of the system what we are trying to do here, because ideally we are trying to deal with two different systems. Though it is an embedded one, we are trying to have to, and we are trying to deal this with two different systems. What are those? One would be your ERP system, the other one would be your EWM system. Agree? Hello?
Agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so what we are trying to do here, how would I know to which system I have to interact, right? Because there would be multiple systems and multiple third-party tools, and there will be multiple integrations would be done in the real times. But how would I know that I have to interact to them? So interaction in the sense what I'm trying to do here. So normally when you're trying to interact with me, you're just calling me with some name and I'm calling with you with some name, right? So there would be some kind of an identification which we are trying to interact. The same way, even for the systems, we will be having something called as a logical system. So if you see this, the system BP1400, what is that? So that's a logical system, and that's a name what was given to the S4 system. Okay, so BP1 CLNT 400, let's go like that. And we no need to create this, guys. This is all the basis related activities. We no need to do that. It's only for the sake of our understanding. I'm just trying to show you. If you try to delete or if you try to modify this, then that's it. We have to do it from the scratch again. So don't touch these settings at all. Okay. If you see this, BP1 CLNT 400. So this is a logical system which we have defined for the S4 system. Means if you see that 400 is a client number and BP1 is a name, that's some kind of a naming conventions, whatever they have given. First thing, the same way, even for the EWM one also, we do have another name, which is nothing but T41 something we would be having it. If you see this T41 EWM 400. Okay, so this is the one which we are trying to interact with the EWM one. Clear, guys?
Yeah,
Any
it's
questions
clear.
here? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now what we are trying to do, so, but this is all not our part, guys. Don't worry about that. Okay. Assign logical system to the even in the real time, we will not even have the access to these settings also. SM59, BD64, and all these things, we will not even have the authorizations to create such kind of things. Now, 400 is my client. Agree? So for this 400, what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to assign. Someone has changed. Okay. BP1 CLNT 400. So we are trying to assign the 400 client to these things and automatic recording. So let's ignore that. So this is one thing which we are doing now. We have to understand now what is a logical system. So you know what is a logical system now, right? It's nothing but it's the naming convention of your systems, whether it could be your source system or whether it could be your target system. Getting it, guys? The same way, we will try to set up the RFC destinations. So RFC destinations in the sense what? We will try to integrate our ERP, means the S4 system, to your EWM system. That one. So T41 I've said, right? If you see this T41. Okay, you can click on this connection test and you can see how the connections are working or not. You can see that the logon is happening through every 9 milliseconds or 1 millisecond and everything. Okay, and the same way, if you click on this remote logon, it will normally log on and it will take you to the target system. But here, as being we have been in the same instance, there's no point. Normally remote logon in the sense it will take you to the target system. So again, these kind of settings and all will be done by your basic guys. Okay, so this is a setting. If you want to remember this transaction, this is SM59 transaction, guys. Okay, if you want to remember that. So this is all the prerequisites in order to make sure that our system is working, at least if you want to even recheck that and all. So these are the ones which we will be making use of it. Okay, now however, we have some things called as the basic settings for data transfer, which we might not be touching at this stage. We might come back again. But here, these are all the things normally when we were using it on the EWMs in the decentralized one, because these are all the parameters which we'll be using like change pointers and data changes and all. But here we do not require the change pointers and all. Why? Because the data is no need to transfer. I mean like the master data. That's not required to transfer here. Okay. Now what I'm trying to do here, generate distribution model. So one thing is this distribution model, as being we have already created many warehouses and we have many things are there, as being it's an idle system, we will be making use of the existing one only. Okay, if you want to create a new one, you can create it, but normally in a system it is suggestible to have only one distribution model. We cannot have a multiple distribution models. Okay, now W46, okay, and the logical system of an SAP EWM1. So what is a EWM1? T41, right? Because that's your target system. Agree? And the distribution model is EWM. So for the first time, guys, whenever the first time you're trying to create or when you're trying to implement of this EWM in any of the systems, this distribution model, you can just give whatever the name you want. Okay, and then you can create it. The system will create it automatically. Okay, now if I try to create these entries, you see that EWM, okay, has come up with these settings. And which is for that delivery for 3 and inbound delivery for 2 and 1 for the stage WM parts. This stage WM parts has come into the picture from 9.3 version. So for anyway 9.2 also we do have. From 9.3 we have this actually. Okay. This production material request. Earlier we don't have this. Okay. Now you can see that for our particular warehouse, whatever we are trying to see here, okay, we have created it. Means what we have done here, delivery change, request change, save replica, and stage WM parts. Now, if in case in the real time, if you don't know what kind of a distribution model we were using and how to make use of it and all, in case of a normal thing, you can go to this transaction of BT64, okay. Someone has created EWM client. I don't know what is this. EXP. See. Okay. BP1 EWM 400. This is another client they've created. What warehouses they have. Okay, fine. You try to make use of this one, guys. EWM dummy logical system, whatever we are trying to do. So here, if you scroll down to this, you can see these are all the list of warehouses that we were been using. You see that? Sorry. Now you see this. This is our warehouse, right? W46. Agree, guys? This is what we have created just now. Hello?
Yes.
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how we can even check. Now, as I said that there are 6 messages you'll be having, right? You see this. Manufacturing order stage EWM system, inbound delivery, outbound delivery. Okay. So these are all the ones, the BAPIs, as I said, right? Which will help us in order to transfer the data. Okay, the inbound delivery change, the manufacturing order, save replica. So these are all the standard 6 BAPIs which will help us to transfer the data from ERP to the EWM system. Clear, or any questions here so far?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, apart from that, okay, we do not have such, because this data transfer, this node, we are not using it that in the S4 systems. But if in case if it is a decentralized system, then we can have the significance of that. That is not required as of now. Okay. However, okay, probably there is nothing as much that we can define in the S4 system, means the ERP system. So now we have to go to the EWM system, and then we have to start creating our own data, such as your warehouse and your master data. And the first thing is we will start finishing of this integration part. Okay, and then we will move it to the master data creation, such as your storage types or storage type roles or your whatever it is. We'll then start creating in that. Okay. Any questions, guys? So far, I mean, like we just started.
No.
Probably.
Thanks.
Yeah. Fine then. Okay. So this creation of this master data of the EWM. Okay. Probably if I start now also, I'll not be finishing it because I have only another 10-15 minutes. So I'll start creating this master data of the EWM in tomorrow's session. If you're having any doubts, please let me know, guys. If not, we'll catch up tomorrow, and then we'll start creating the master data in the EWM, and then we'll finish off this integration part first, and then we'll go to the master data of the EWM one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Then okay. So let's catch up tomorrow, and then we will see the integration part of the EWM one. Okay, and then we'll see that accordingly. Okay, guys. Okay then. Thank you, guys. Then. Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.